This week in our Women in RVing series, we meet Mollee Veurink from Veurink's RV Center in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and learn how she grew her career in the RV industry. Then, Mark Polk from RV Education 101 explains the best way to keep your freshwater RV system clean and sanitized. Later, Jeff Johnston takes us to Broten Marsh Campground in Wisconsin and tells us, don't let the name put you off. This fantastic campground is a gem you should visit. In our Paws on Board segment, Dr. Fitz from Fitz Med explains the difference between heat stroke and heat exhaustion, how to tell the difference, and how to treat your dog should it face either one. These stories and it's time to enter our Care Camp Super Nobo 2 sweepstakes. Closed and Spanish captioning where available is sponsored by Forest River. Follow the river.
So we are going on our 67th year in the RV industry and being here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It all started in 1954 with my grandpa Howard Veurink. We were a couple miles north of here at a smaller location. And he had 3 of his 5 children working for him, and one being my dad, who is the only one still in the business right now. And eventually through time, they outgrew that space and relocated right here, just a few more miles down the road. And now we are on our 3rd generation of the Veurink family with my brother, Matt Veurink, who is the general manager. And we just announced our 2nd location a couple days ago, which is in Newaygo, Michigan, which is 45 minutes north of here. When I was in high school, probably 14 years old, my dad put my brother and I to work washing trailers. That was our first job here, and I loved it. And then through high school, I kind of wanted to do something else with my life and my career. And long story short, I kind of went back to school for graphic design. And at the time, he had said, hey, I don't know if this is creative enough for you, but we are expanding our marketing if you'd like to kind of jump in and do graphic design and branding and also learn more about the marketing aspect. And he knew that just because we're family, that I'm not forced to work in the family business. And I said, it's an opportunity. The worst thing is I don't like it and I can kind of find something different. But I've been here now in this doing the creative marketing for going on 4 to 5 years, and I absolutely love it. It's something new every day, whether I'm taking some inventory photos, I'm doing a walkthrough video with some of our sales team. That's so fun. They have some bloopers here and there. So at the end of the day, I love it. So we have been doing virtual walkarounds pretty much, going on 10 years. This is something we kind of saw was kind of one of our secrets. It's something we knew. We wanted to provide a different way to engage with the customer, but also to try to reach them. A lot of people are just doing, a standard photo or a blog post, but with the recent things happening even last year and everything going to virtual, it was kind of second nature to us. So we noticed customers would rather see a virtual, more face-to-face component to their shopping experience. It's something where if they're watching a video, they can kind of see it more in person. They're able to build more of an instant rapport and trust with the person trying to sell it. And so we noticed it's been amazing, and people have been calling off of the videos, and that's something that works for us. We are a full service RV dealership, so we don't just sell the RVs and the lifestyle, we sell everything else you would need with it. Whether you need some camp store parts and accessories, some new chairs, stuff for the campfire, to maybe you want an upgrade to install a Furrion backup camera to make your experience a little bit more fluid and convenient. You can upgrade and work with our service advisors and service techs. We also have the Find My RV parts, replacement parts business, which is if you need those really hard to find parts and replacement parts, that is available for you as well. So we have a lot of different women here doing, whether it's administration, camp store managers, and parts managers. I think there are so many opportunities, whether you are a female or you're not. If you have a special skill set, you need to just go for that opportunity. I pulled one of my friends actually into our dealership, and I said, hey, I think you're the right fit for this role. And I think the opportunity is there if you go after it. Whether you want to work in, the service area, you want to manage a group of people at a manufacturer or a dealership, you can go for that. There's really nothing stopping you other than yourself. Being a woman in the industry, and it's very male dominated, I always kind of like to say at the end of the day, I notice men and like to remind the men that they do need the women. I see it every day where we're kind of helping them out. I have noticed more women joining, and I think the RV Women's Alliance is perfect to connect and network, and that's why I joined, just because it's great to see it from another perspective and their roles in the industry. All I know is the RV dealership side, and so it's great to be able to bounce ideas off and have a better understanding and appreciation of what their role is in the industry. At the end of the day, we may be competitors, we may not work or partner with each other, but we all have one common goal, and that is to sell and share the RV lifestyle. So it's been great to see even women be more involved with the RV lifestyle, whether that's they're here wanting to buy a camper for themselves, or they are more involved with the buying decision of their family camper. So it's really neat to be able to see that come into play. So with Veurink's RV Center, we've noticed a shift with a lot of the younger families and the younger demographic of, your 28 to 35-year-olds wanting to experience the RV lifestyle. With the recent things happening in the past year, we've noticed just a shift of how they want to travel, and with RVing, they can kind of pick up, travel when they want, where they want, and create family memories. That's the one thing I love about the RV industry, is that one family may want to do it very simple and off the grid, where another family might want it a little bit more luxury, and they may want to have like your fifth wheel that has all the bells and whistles, or a motorhome, and there's no right or wrong. So the RV lifestyle makes it so you can cater to your own taste and liking, and that's the cool thing about it. Like I said, if you want your smaller teardrop or single axle travel trailer to just be able to go from one place to the next and not really have to think or have an agenda, you can do that. Or if you may want to spend the entire summer at an RV resort in a more larger fifth wheel or motorhome, you can do that. One of my favorite places to RV since I was a baby was Holland State Park. We would go there every summer for a couple of weeks. I actually just went this past fall, and it brought back a lot of memories. It was a place that was far enough where it felt like you were kind of on vacation, but it was close enough so my dad could commute to and from work. And that's a place where a lot of my family memories kind of were created, being out Pure Michigan. You have the lake shore, it's quiet. You have a lot of different areas in Holland to experience and create those family memories. I think my grandfather would be so proud of my brother, my dad, and me, and I really still enjoy it. I think it's a little bit more on a personal scale of just being able to, work with my brother and my dad and a few other family members and carry on his legacy. I think he'd be up in heaven really proud just watching us be able to expand and grow our team here. So it's very exciting to be able to be a part of that and to actually work in the industry and keep America RVing.
Aquacam toss-ins. So fast and easy to use, it could seem like a game. Someone once said, the camping doesn't really start until the RV awning comes out. Whoever said that really knew what they were talking about. Carefree of Colorado, celebrating 45 years of RV awning innovation. For more information, visit our website at carefreeofcolorado.com.
Hi, I'm Mark Polk with RV Education 101. The water system in your RV provides the water you drink from and the water you use to wash dishes and take showers with. We cannot assume it will always be safe and fresh like the water system in our home. So, to make sure the RV water system is clean and safe to use, all you need to do is sanitize it. Here's how you do it. Possibly the most important step you can take concerning your RV water system is to periodically sanitize the system. At a minimum, I recommend sanitizing the water system every spring when you take the RV out of storage and anytime you notice stale water or an odor. What you will need to do the job: regular Clorox bleach. Make sure you use a Clorox household bleach product that sanitizes and disinfects. Some Clorox products do not sanitize and disinfect. Measuring cup. 1 gallon pitcher full of potable water, small funnel. Sanitize the RV water system. You can start by draining the water heater. Turn off any source of water going to the RV. Open a hot water faucet to relieve any water pressure. The drain plug or petcock is located at the bottom of the tank. Remove the plug and open the pressure relief valve on top of the water heater to assist in draining. If you have an on-demand water heater with a copper heat exchanger, it must be bypassed prior to sanitizing the water system. Consult your water heater owner's manual. Next, locate the low point water drain lines. There will be one for the hot and one for the cold water lines. This is the lowest point in the water system. Open the drains and let the water drain out. Locate the drain for the fresh water holding tank and drain all the water from it. At this point, you can turn the water pump on for a few moments to help force any remaining water out of the system. Do not let the pump continue to run after the water stops draining. When the water is done draining, close all the drains you previously opened. What we have accomplished so far was to evacuate most of the water from the water system. Now, take a 1/4 cup of regular household bleach for every 15 gallons of water that your freshwater tank holds. Mix the bleach with water into a 1-gallon container and pour it into the freshwater holding tank. A small funnel is helpful. Fill the freshwater tank almost completely full of potable water. Turn the water pump on and open a hot water faucet to fill the water heater tank. If you have an on-demand water heater with a copper heat exchanger, it must be bypassed prior to sanitizing the water system. Consult your water heater owner's manual. When the water heater tank is full, open all hot and cold faucets one at a time and run the water until you smell the bleach at each faucet. Close the faucets. Let it sit in the water system for at least 12 hours. Drain the entire water system again and refill the freshwater tank with potable water. Open all the faucets and run the water until you no longer smell any bleach. It may be necessary to repeat this process again to eliminate all signs of bleach from the water system. Once this is done, it is safe for you to use your RV water system. I am convinced anybody can sanitize the water system on their RV. Just follow the steps we outlined here. After the job is done, you have the satisfaction of knowing the water system is fresh and safe to use. To learn more about using and maintaining your RV, visit RVOnlineTraining.com. Happy camping.
Win this 2021 Super Nobo 2. Rollin' on TV and Forest River have teamed up again in supporting care camps with a sweepstakes for this custom 2021 Super Nobo 2 travel trailer. Don't pass up this opportunity to support care camps, which are special oncology camps for children with cancer that allows these deserving children the chance to enjoy life in the great outdoors and just be kids. By supporting care camps, you also get the chance to win this awesome, one-of-a-kind Super Nobo 2. For a full video on this Super Nobo 2 and how to enter the sweepstakes, just visit rollinontv.com and click on the Care Camp Sweepstakes link. By the way, that beautiful Advanced Elements kayak you see with the Nobo is one of the fun RV toys included in the sweepstakes package. I'd say it's time to log on to rollinontv.com and enter the sweepstakes soon.
From off-the-road adventure camping to luxurious full-time RVing and everything in between, Forest River has the RV to fit your needs, budget, and outdoor lifestyle. To see our full line of trailers and motorhomes, visit forestriverinc.com. Forest River. Begin the journey. At Norcoal, we realize that some of your favorite RV destinations are off the grid. And Norcoal refrigerators are uniquely designed with that RV experience in mind. We call it Freedom Unplugged. To learn more about our Norcoal RV refrigerator line or to find a dealer near you, visit our website at norcoal.com.
Today's quick stop is a Wisconsin gem. Don't let the name put you off. The Broten Marsh Park and Campground is a darn nice place to stay in your RV. Its location, adjacent to 13,000-acre Sheboygan Lake and Marsh wildlife area, might suggest bugs are a problem, but it was the most critter-free campsite we enjoyed during our Midwest to Oregon trip. The year-round facility includes 64 campsites from dry camping to full hookups, showers, a boat ramp, playground, and picnic area. Fishing, hunting, bird watching, and hiking nature trails are among the local attractions. Access roads are generally good for most RV sizes. The tallest wooden observation tower in Wisconsin provides stair climbing exercise and a broad view of the campground and marsh. While the Kohler Center for Marsh Education is still under construction on site, it's slated to be an outstanding outdoor education program facility. If someone else's cooking occasionally strikes your fancy, enjoy the local specialties at Three Guys and a Grill restaurant and bar that's part of the campground offerings. We thoroughly enjoyed the rustic decor, air conditioning, good food, and cold microbrews on tap, and we both thought the charcoal grilled walleye was especially tasty. The Broten Marsh Park and Campground is not a bad place to stay in east central Wisconsin, just a stone's throw north of Milwaukee. For more information, log on to our website at rollinontv.com.
Wow, am I glad I used Aquachem. Maybe chili wasn't the best idea.
Aquachem, the most powerful odor control available, and the #1 seller for over 50 years.
Welcome to Rollin' on TV's Paws on Board. I'm Dr. Fitz, and this is Bruno. Today we're going to be discussing heat stroke versus heat exhaustion. A large proportion of RVers bring their pets with them on their travels, somewhere around 70%. Whether you plan to hang out in the campground or explore the trails, you should consider the safety of your dog. During the summer months, many popular vacation spots can get extremely warm and humid. Just like people, canines can become dehydrated and be impacted by the heat. Any dog can be affected, but several breeds have special considerations. Double-coated breeds, like Bruno here, they have 2 layers of insulation. There's some argument that their insulation can keep them cool, but just the same, the excess insulation could also make them overheat if they're exerting themselves or playing fetch. Brachycephalic dogs, or the smush-faced dogs, they include pugs, Boston Terriers, French Bulldogs, Boxers, Cavaliers, among others. They have a different anatomy of their airway. Their airway is a little smushed, so it's not conducive to optimal airflow. And they can often struggle to get sufficient oxygen when they exercise, and they actually have a reduced ability to keep themselves cool. Many vets actually recommend limiting outdoor activity for these breeds in the warmer months. Older dogs, so dogs that have breathing issues or heart or airway disease, they also have reduced ability to get oxygen and to cool themselves as well. So keeping in mind all of those breeds, any dog is at risk for heat-related injury given the right conditions. Dogs primarily use panting, like Bruno here, to cool and only sweat minimally through their paws. Excessive panting in a dog can actually be dangerous and lead to hyperventilation. In the warmer months, you should be aware of the difference between heat stroke and heat exhaustion. Both conditions actually look very similar, but they vary in how they can occur. However, both are medical emergencies. Heat exhaustion occurs in a warm, humid environment, like today. Usually, the dog has lost a lot of fluid by panting and even sweating a little bit through their paws. Often they'll be a little dehydrated, and this can cause a drop in blood pressure. When a dog has heat exhaustion, surprisingly, their temperature is actually normal, and this is because their body's working extra hard to cool themselves off. Because of this and the dehydration, you'll often see a dog that is a bit weak. They might be nauseous, so they might throw up. They might look a little uncoordinated or a little drunk. They'll pant excessively, their gums might be a bit red, and they can even collapse if it gets bad enough. All of these signs are because their body is working so hard to cool themselves off and keep their body temperature normal. If you notice these signs in your dog, get them to a cool, shady location and provide cool water. However, when you do this, make sure you provide the water in small amounts. You don't want your dog to inhale air as well as the water. You can also place a cool, wet towel. So you can take some water and wet a towel and place that on your dog. This can help cool them and allow them to release heat that way. However, if your dog doesn't improve with these basic cooling measures, get them to a veterinarian. They usually will need some fluids and supportive care to keep them cool. Heat stroke is slightly different than heat exhaustion. It occurs when there's an inability of the dog to lose heat. So some of those breeds that I mentioned earlier, like the smush-faced dogs, those tend to be the worst when it comes to heat stroke. They're compromised in some way, they can't cool themselves. So often in dogs that have heat stroke, they'll have an elevated body temperature versus a normal body temperature. In dogs, a normal body temperature can range from 99.5 to 102.5 degrees, so they run much warmer than we do as people. In a dog with heat stroke, they'll be often very lethargic, they may collapse, they can vomit and have diarrhea, they will be excessively panting, like with heat exhaustion, but they can also eventually have seizures if the condition gets bad enough. Heat stroke is dangerous and it can be life-threatening because the body temperature is elevated and that can actually cause internal organ damage. If this occurs, you want to use the same cooling measures as you would for heat exhaustion. So again, applying a cool wet towel, giving your dog some water, and getting them to a cool shady location. We want to avoid that organ damage as much as possible. When you're using these cooling measures, you don't want the body temperature to drop too fast, so use these in moderation as your dog improves over time. But like with heat exhaustion, if these measures are not working and your pet isn't improving, you need to get them to a veterinarian as this can be life-threatening. So what are some things that you can do to avoid heat stroke and heat exhaustion in your dogs when you're on vacation? Well, first, don't leave your dog in a hot car or RV, even if you have the windows open. If you do plan to leave your dog in your RV, ensure that it has active ventilation, like this RV here. You want to make sure that there's cool ventilation moving through to keep your dog cool. Next, make sure that you provide adequate water for your pet. Dogs can drink about 1 liter of water per day, depending on their size. Likely, they'll need more, especially if they're being active or if they're in a warm environment, so make sure you have extra water with you at all times. Finally, make sure to give your dog breaks from the heat so that they have time to cool off in between all the fun and all the hikes. For more information about traveling safely with your pets, visit RollinOnTV.com. Tune in next time for more pet health information. I'm Dr. Fitz, and this is Bruno. Thanks for watching Paws on Board.
For additional information on anything featured on this week's show, along with additional stories, videos, and information about RVs, camping, and the RV lifestyle, along with the latest news and trends, be sure to visit our website at RollinOnTV.com. As usual, this has been another fun production.